be awesome. My name is Sam.
My name is DJ.
And guess what, gang? We're watching all the Disney live-action remakes, maybe so you don't have to, or that maybe we're going to recommend that you go and watch them because sometimes they're good,
two options.
Sometimes they're bad, and those are the options for seeing movies. But really quick, I just want to go give a quick shout out to Real D and Stardust for inviting us to a very special screening of Aladdin, the 2019 remake directed by Guy Ritchie, also written by...
and we're ding.
There you go. And also written by Guy Ritchie and John August, and stars Will Smith, Naomi Scott, Mena Massoud, Nasim Pedrad, Marwan Kenzari. Hopefully, I did my best. I did my research ahead of time. Hopefully, I said your names correctly. You guys did an amazing performance. Here's a quickie synopsis. If you didn't have a good childhood, a kind-hearted street urchin and a power-hungry Grand Vizier vie for a magic lamp that has the power to make their deepest wishes come true. That's very, that's a good synopsis.
That is a good synopsis, and I think that tells you a strength of this story because it's such a cool, like, I don't know, it's like, I think for a lot of people like me, this movie is just a part of the DNA of your childhood.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the few movies I remember. I want to say I saw it in theaters, although when we went to dates, it's like I would have been much younger than I thought.
I think, too.
So not only is this based off of the original Disney animated film, but it is also originally based off the Arabian folktale, 1001 Nights, which has a bunch of stories in it, and I think it's more commonly known in the U.S. as Arabian Nights. So there's plenty of interesting source material to pull from. But it's such a good premise for a movie.
It is. Yeah. And so, like we've seen with other popular animated Disney movies like Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, Jungle Book, this is another one of their tried and true animated films coming to the big screen one more time. And it's hitting theaters May 24th, 2019. So again, thank you to Real D for the invite. It was very cool. As of recording this review, we do not have a Rotten Tomatoes score.
Ooh, because we're the cool kids.
These are fresh. These, I don't know if we're giving a fresh score just yet, but these are fresh reviews. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Overall thoughts.
Yes.
DJ, we got to go to a very special screening before the finale of Game of Thrones. We have a review of that up on Might Be Awesome, which you should check out with Trisha. Also one with Steve Zaragoza, friend of the show over on Patreon. Enough of that plug.
Yeah.
But we were able to see that right before we saw the finale. And going into this theater, I'll preface this with that the trailers and the overall buzz of this movie was negative. And I don't think I was very excited going into this film. I think I do an okay job dropping those feelings going into a movie and just kind of trying to experience what the thousands of people behind this film tried to create for us as an audience, because they want us to have a good time, especially with a movie like Aladdin, especially a Disney animated movie coming to life. They want you to have a good time. But overall, I had some kind of negative thoughts going into it. What about you?
Same. I just, the trailers didn't impress me. I've been kind of like hit or miss with these live action adaptations of their classic animated movies, and it kind of falls on the lines of like my dedication to the original property. Like for Beauty and the Beast, I love the original Beauty and the Beast, right? But didn't really like the live action adaptation, whereas Jungle Book doesn't really mean anything to me. And I thought the adaptation was really cool. You know what I mean? Aladdin means a lot to me. I like Aladdin. It might be one of my favorite classic Disney films. And the trailers weren't moving the needle for me at all.
It seemed a little devoid of some of the magic.
Yeah.
I'll say that's the kind of the overall feeling I had.
Yeah, and going in, and I'll say for a little bit in the movie, I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling it. You know what I mean? And then Will Smith's Genie shows up, and the movie kicks into another gear, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually genuinely enjoying myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have to 100% agree. I actually was enjoying the beginning of the movie enough.
Yeah.
You know,
it's fine.
The lead, I was kind of on the fence about. I actually really liked Naomi Scott as Jasmine.
Yes.
And I enjoyed Aladdin. I was kind of feeling like this feels a little weird. And also, one of the opening numbers, you get to explore Agrabah.
Yes.
And overall, I think a lot of the realization of Agrabah to live action was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's something about and everything about it was just not working for me. Abu, by the way, was working for me.
Yeah, Abu is super cute.
Yeah, Abu is super cute, and it's so expressive.
Yeah.
And you immediately connect with him. He doesn't need to be anthropomorphized. I don't know if I
No,
ever said that word
that's good.
right.
No, anthropomorphized. And same with Iago, the parrot. They start all this good line of work in this movie. Since it's live action, they're still animals. They just have just like any animal in a movie. They show enough character,
a little more personality.
Yeah.
And so in the beginning of the movie, I was like, overall, I liked how quickly they showed a connection between Jasmine and Aladdin.
Yes.
And you immediately get connected with them. Also, just say this up top. If you've seen the animated movie, you know the beat for beat how we're going to go through this. But there are some fun twists. And twists, meaning they're very minor. And they don't change the overall story. But
Jasmine gets 2 extra songs.
Whoa. Whoa. And maybe you also learn a bit more about Jafar, but I'll get to that in a second. But overall, the beginning of the movie, you're kind of feeling like, I'd say lukewarm.
Yeah.
And as soon as Genie shows up, who, by the way, I was probably most nervous for because the other trailers, the internet kind of went ham on tearing apart the realization of Will Smith's Genie, the blue version of him, and also they showed a human version of him, and they're like, "Whoa, I can't believe they didn't make him like a blue strongman. How could they do that?" And it's like, maybe if there's no way to show him without giving away parts of the movie. And overall, the way they brought him to life was so much fun.
Yeah.
I had so much fun, and I mentioned this before we recorded that. I don't know the last time I had a lot of fun watching Will Smith in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, I think I didn't see Bright. I'll put that out there. Mm-hmm. And I Am Legend was a good movie, but I don't think I saw it.
By the way, hot take, I actually enjoyed Bright. Just throwing that out there. Yeah.
But and I enjoy like Pursuit of Happiness, and I enjoy I Am Legend, but they're not the fun Will Smith that we grew up with. I think we looked at his IMDb. The last time I really enjoyed him was Hitch, and that was 2005.
Yeah.
Over 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And seeing him in this movie, I was like, "Oh my God, this is why we went and saw Will Smith movies.
Yeah.
Like, this is amazing. This is him with the power of Disney magic behind him, so anything is possible." And this movie does such a good job showing you, like, okay, like you can wish, but also sometimes people don't know what they want to wish for, and so he has the freedom to go ham. I've said that twice now, so go ahead and keep a counter going.
Yeah, keep checking in
for
on
the
that.
ham counter.
No, but I think like even in the you're talking about having fun with the movies, even the movies that you might not enjoy as much. Will Smith is such a charismatic, engaging performer that I think he was coming in with a lot of like it's a challenging role because the original movie is beloved. Robin Williams' performance is beloved. Sadly, he's no longer with us. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of expectation there, and his interpretation. Robin Williams' interpretation is very Robin Williams. This is very Will Smith, and it adds so much energy to the movie. It adds the core dynamic, and it also adds, for the nerds out there, it also adds a lot of like mythology to it. Like speaking of like, we were going to go see the Game of Thrones finale right after this. It's like I would 100% watch a show set in a world with this type of mythology where you got to explore genies and all, because there's got to be volumes of other creatures and lore and stuff that you could dive into. Give me that show, you know what I mean? Because the stuff with the genie's really interesting, and how he explains to Aladdin, you know, the rules and the functions he has in this world, and there's just a little bit more, because you're making the jump from animation to live action, just a little more of trying to justify that, since it's actual actors now. You know, you're not in the animated world where you kind of just go with it. I really liked it. It really brought the movie to life. Those are the best musical numbers, and you do get the classic musical numbers from the movie. And so to mix to good results. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. I think the first musical number where I was fully on board with everything that was happening was Genie's number. You Never Had a Friend Like Me.
Yes,
and
100%.
You watch it because you're like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It's very, also Genie magic is a little bit scary because you have very little control. His perception of reality is so make-believe. It's so anything you want it to be.
Yeah.
That it's funny to see a human have to be whipped around in that, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's Will Smith. And one of the best parts of the animated movie is seeing how Robin Williams' performance elevates everything else happening in the scene. Yeah. As soon as Will Smith shows up, Aladdin, the character and the actor, get raised to another level, and you're like, yes. Especially when you get to Prince Ali, his song and his introduction to Agrabah, and I on Twitter, I'm gonna just kind of I kind of hopped on the boat when someone pointed out that like basically Disney released that song, and part of the performance of it, and it seemed very slow and the energy wasn't there. Mm-hmm. But then watching it in the context of the movie, it's perfect. It's even better than what you expect, and there's some extra jokes in there that are just Will Smith as a stage performer that are just so lovely, and I couldn't help myself from smiling like an idiot throughout the entire thing. So. Again, another example of kind of Twitter hopping on the bandwagon to tear something down because, hey, that's fun. Again, we've all been there. Yeah. But I honestly ask you, I was going to say beg. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you.
That's too much.
Yeah, to just kind of suspend some of that hate for just a second and go and watch this because of your love of the animated movie, which is the reason they made this in the first place.
Yeah.
give it a chance and go and watch it. The way that the Genie's brought to life and the way that Agrabah's brought to life, and all of these characters feel like actual characters. It doesn't feel like they held up a cell shading of the animated movie and we try to recreate it beat by beat.
Yeah.
It's like, no. They tried to make something not new, but something fresh and lived in, and I was sold.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's Disney blindness, because I don't really have that when it comes to like these live action adaptations, but something about this movie really worked for me, and I really want to give praise to Naomi Scott's Jasmine, and that comes to Guy Ritchie as one of the writers and the director, but also Naomi Scott. I really dug the way they brought her character to life and how she meant more to the world in this movie than I'd say she did in the animated movie. Not that she's not important, because she's awesome. She has Raja, the tiger. The tiger's awesome. And her and Aladdin's relationship's great in the animated movie, but I felt like she was more of an individual and it had more agency in this film. Yeah. And especially Nasim Pedrad, her character is one of Jasmine's handmaidens. Yeah. And her character is great. She's a comedy actor. She was on SNL. She was on New Girl. Nice. And she was used to her the fullest extent in this movie. And I loved it. And Will Smith, so good. And his use of magic, so good.
Were there any other standout positives?
I give Jafar a fair amount of praise, because the way that they're able to ground his character and make him, I'd say he has some Disney villainy attached to it that's similar to an animated film where it's like mustache twirling a little bit, but at the same time they ground it enough to show you his motivation, that like how he's willing to do anything to get what he wants, and that is to the fullest extent as well, like going after the Genie. That is getting everything he wants and thinks that he deserves based on everything he's sacrificed and the things he's done. Yeah. He's a villain. Like he's he's one of the worst villains that Disney's had. Yeah. But even in this movie, it's fully realized, and I enjoy his performance. Yeah. And again, like when it comes to some of the animals brought to life, like Iago, I like the way they brought him to life. I liked and Abu and Magic Carpet. Magic
Carpet is always great.
Very similar to, and then we brought this comparison up when we watched Doctor Strange. Yeah. Like it's very similar energies.
Yeah, Doctor Strange's his cloak is very similar to Magic Carpet from the cartoon, which makes it very similar to this Magic Carpet as well.
Yeah, they nailed it.
I will say, as far as some critiques, the sets they always feel like sets. They never feel like you're in this place. And honestly, for me, it felt like this could have been a world at Disneyland or Disney World, and I would want to go there. So it's not like it doesn't feel lived in, but it does feel like a place I'd want to go. So like, you know what I mean? So that's cool. And I will say, a lot of the songs, I think it's technically one song. There's one added song that's sung twice. But for the most part, these are the songs from the original cartoon. And I feel like, I don't know if this is the case, but I feel like they had the actors in the movie do the singing, and which I think works better and for like a La La Land, something that's a little more grounded and down to earth. For something with this much pageantry and with this much history, I think maybe having like Broadway level, either have your performance be Broadway level or have the person that does the actual singing to compete with what came before, because I don't know, the production of the musical numbers is amazing. Some of the singing, especially if you're thinking of the original song, might not, or if you have we were talking to somebody that knows somebody that's hugely dedicated to those songs, might not add up to what you remember.
I will say Will Smith's numbers are always pretty solid all the way through. They are... Never Had a Friend Like Me is I want to go see the movie again in theaters because of that. And Prince Ali. Both of those numbers are pretty fantastic.
And of course we saw it in 3D and it looked great. It looked really good.
Yeah, I recommend that as well, especially when it comes to magic. That was a blast. But yeah, I have to kind of boil it down. I'd go with my positives are Genie / Will Smith / magic. All bundled together, that he brings that to the movie, and he just brings everybody up to another level where you understand why this movie was made. Yeah. To see him as this character and this world, because you actually learn not just about Agrabah, you learn about other things in this world as well, keeping that as vague as possible. But and I'm like, I could see more movies in this. Also, I could see the Disney ride. Give me the 100%. Give me the Star Tours-esque equivalent to this, and I would be on board. Musical numbers for me, I don't know if I understand your criticisms. Overall, I was pretty on board with everything, with all the numbers that we did see, especially Will Smith's numbers, and I like Jafar's performance, but also when I mentioned like slight twists, there's a twist added to fill him out as more of a human, and I really appreciate that. But when it comes to negatives of this movie, I'd say the movie doesn't feel like it really kicks into gear until Genie shows up,
which takes a surprisingly long amount of time.
because you know when it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
If you've seen the movie or played Kingdom Hearts,
Yeah.
you know when that happens. Shout out if you guys play that game in the comments down below. And I'd say I like Naomi Scott's performance, but I think her song feels like an anachronism in the rest of the movie, where everything feels like this is a 90s Disney song, and then hers is a modern song.
Like early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
Feeling, it feels like 2005.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't know if it's a bad song. I just can tell that it's not the song that I know.
Yeah, it stands out.
Yes.
It stands out. What it represents for her character in the story is interesting. It stands out. Yeah.
Those would be my negatives. What about you?
I agree with all that. Yeah, I agree with all that. I think I wish it would have been cool if the world felt more lived in, especially since it is a really cool world. But I think it's a testament to this movie that I would genuinely like to see more. And they had direct-to-TV sequels for this, for the original cartoon.
It felt like a hint to that.
Yes.
Or, I mean, maybe they're just like frame for frame or beat by beat. They're really trying to copy exactly what happened. But it felt like they wanted to tell more stories.
But even then, if you go back to the original like stories as source material to like spin off this, I'm actually really interested in that. I was genuinely surprised by this movie. So Sam, we always like to do weird ratings.
Everyone loves it when
Your
we do this.
unique ratings, and we looked it up, and it's been 27 years since the animated film, which seems crazy to me.
I will put it out there. It's slightly less because like November 11th, 1982. But we'll round
roughly,
round up a bit.
So out of 27, what would you rate this?
27 years.
Yeah.
Oof. Honestly, a 20 out of 27. I very much enjoyed this movie, and it surprised me. And I would put the addendum, if you wanted to go see this movie, go in with the expectations you already had, but buy the ticket. I know that's a weird place to be in.
Yeah.
You're listening to our opinion and our recommendation, but go in with the same opinion you had, and you'll be surprised. But 20 out of 27, I'd say.
So which letter grade wise you would imagine is
B+?
okay. All right.
That can't be right. I know,
that can't be right. I'm gonna go with a little bit lower, 17 out of 27.
What's the letter grade though?
B minus, somewhere in there.
That seems like maybe go up a little bit. Go with the
18.
number. There you go.
18. B
based
minus.
on the numbers,
Because
it sounds right.
I genuinely, I was surprised. I genuinely enjoyed this movie. I wouldn't mind seeing more movies set in this world. And I would say, like, especially if you're a Disney fan or you want to take your family to go see something, I recommend this movie.
Oh yeah, no, kids are gonna have a blast. And honestly, like, if you had all enjoyed Aladdin, like, which I feel like everyone kind of did, you will have fun at this movie. And it's nice that the movie's fun. It feels good. Not that movies that are coming out now are not fun, but this movie is jam-packed with a lot of fun moments and moments where I was just smiling my butt off, straight off out of the seat. Had to look for it later with a flashlight.
Yep.
Like
it was awkward.
It was awkward, but it was worth it. So yeah, go ahead and check it out in 3D. Thank you, Real D and Stardust, for the invite. It was amazing. Let us know what you thought. And I know. I see the hate out there. I see it. We see it. We've maybe even partaken in it. I'll say I might be guilty of that, but overall, I'm glad I saw the movie, and I would happily see it again in theaters.
There you go.
There you go. Go ahead and check it out. Let us know what you thought. Make sure you check out patreon.com/onlystupidanswers for more, because we sometimes you get these reviews when the embargoes lift for it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But also subscribe to Might Be Awesome for our deep dives, our reviews, and we have some Game of Thrones deep dives as well, so make sure you check that out. Please and thank you. DJ, where can they find you?
At DJ Talks Trash, every place that matters. Sam, how about you?
At Sam Basher, but at Might Be Social on Twitter and Instagram. Don't miss out there for some photos, for some updates. You know the drill. Again, like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.